Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wednesday, so it's beard therapy day. Today we have Silver Chef Eric and, of course, Barbado Joe. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I fixed it. I fixed it before anybody started with me.
Yeah, I just teleported. Good to have you here today, this week, Eric.
Thank you.
We had a free night, no guests, and we've been wanting to have Eric on for a little while, so it worked just perfectly.
Yeah, I've been coming into therapy, beard therapy for at least 6 months. Been doing other therapy for the last 9 years, so, But, yeah, it's always a good conversation in here. There's always, good chat, and after 9:30, I've got a taint story that you will not.
He's got the gun loaded and cocked and ready to go, Johnny Grooms. I love it. I love it. All right, let's see who's in the house here. We got Deliberately Bearded, the artist formerly known as NJ Ron, Ryan Zubich. Good to see you, Ryan. You've been coming. Brian Hershey. So Brian seems like a new addition. Brian Hershey.
Brian Hershey.
Yep, he's another Colorado dude.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Chris, Emo, Rob Brannon. Good to see you, Rob. Of course, the Blue Wrench, Brett Berlin in the house. Josh Ricks, Gary Lewis, McMahon, the Biden is here.
Oh, all right.
Healthy Bearded. Wow, yeah, nice. Very nice. BGG Beard Reviews is here. Rob Acker, Bearded Native. Yeah, Dagan. Eric Kennedy, the Cal Ripken is here. The Iron Horse, Part 2. That is great. Johnny's in the comm, of course. I'm in the navigator seat. Last night, we were in Chris's. I think that's going to be our phrase now, Johnny. I think Johnny in the comm and me in the navigator seat. Some bullshit like that. We need a phrase. We need we need a catchphrase. We
make it so.
So that by the way, are you guys enjoying the hell out of those Uber Eats commercials with Stewart and Mark Hamill? Have you been seeing them?
Oh no, I got to look that up now.
It's great. They're in this dark warehouse and they talk about what they're eating and they're in conflict. There's 4 or 5 of them by now. Very good, very fun. They're quick and in and out, but just fun to have those 2 legends of the Star Trek, Star Wars universes out there. Anyway, last night, some of you might have seen Johnny and I in a different place. We were on Chris's live, and that was a heck of a lot of fun, Johnny Grooms.
Yeah, that was a good live. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah. I like when we're a package deal. I like when they invite beard therapy on. Now, I was racking my brain, Johnny. The last time I think we were invited on as a package deal was when we were on Moe's. Yeah, and that was the night of the legendary ass-eating comment that Miner's beard still cracks up to this day. That was a killer. That was beautiful. So I think that may have gotten out, Johnny, and that's why we haven't been on as a package deal. I think so. Yeah. I mean, the odds are there.
It's cool. Whatever.
Yeah. Oh, Beard Court in the house. James Pershing, of course. Good to see you. Tyson. Now he's faithfully bearded tips and reviews. This dude's like freaking Lon Chaney Jr., man, the man of 1,000 faces. First, he was faithfully bearded. Then we got the faithfully bearded David thing, which, of course, messed with me. And now we have this. He's changing his physical look, his brand look, all that jazz. What the fuck is going on there? Salad. Johnny makes Joe's package more palatable. Never put it that way, but okay. That's the way you want to. That's the way you want to say it. Sure thing. Was the ass covering?
I've been rocking tie-dyes since the mid-'80s, so unless you count during the 70s when we'd make them at summer school.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a tie-dye party once a year. I go to it sometimes, but my wife and the kids go, and they make tie-dye shirts. So, all their pajama shirts are tie-dye, and, a few that they wear outside, the ones that come out right, because sometimes you can do it and it don't come out right, and, yeah.
We've never done tie-dye. We've always talked about it, but as a family, we've never done it. So,
Mm.
but I dig tie dye. I think tie dye's kick ass.
Yeah, now you can get the kits on Amazon or
Yeah,
Hobby
mhm.
Lobby or Michaels or
We're old enough to remember when you were using the rubber bands and guessing at your
Yeah,
mixture
that's how-
to do it right.
Yeah, that's how they do it at the party. They rubber band the shirt together.
Yep.
And then they just start throwing color at it, and they
Yeah.
hope for the best.
oh, now they've got all the different patterns that you can buy. It shows you exactly how to squish it all up to get mandalas and all other really cool stuff. in there.
Okay. I like the old way.
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
too.
it's gotta be free spirited, not
Yes, a little rough around the edges. I don't need
Yeah.
all this neat packaged kind of shit. Brett Berlin asks, fucking Brett Berlin. Brett Berlin asks if the ass comment was more legendary than when I called Cam Camel Toe. We all know I never called him Camel Toe. This is a fucking conspiracy theory urban legend by Brett Berlin. We all know this to be fact, and only Brett Berlin wants to cling onto this notion. Play back the tape, baby.
That's a lot of footage to go through to find that. Good luck.
Yeah, I don't even know what show that was.
Whoever gets that will get a bottle cap from me.
It's better than a silver coin.
Yeah, at least it's real.
Yeah, it is
Oh,
real.
man, maybe I
Yeah.
should bang out bottle caps and send them out as coins.
So that that's not a bad. Lucky with the little puzzles we were talking about. Something cool,
Yeah,
something regional from New Jersey. Something that you can't get if you're not in New Jersey.
see,
That would be
it's
kind of
just-
cool.
It says
Well-
cheers on it.
We had them in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
what was funny is that was kind of a litmus test about how drunk you were. Is if beginning of the night you're just nailing them, and
Yeah.
when you're into the third case and there's two of you,
Yeah.
it starts to get a little challenging. And ones we couldn't figure out, I would always take home. And my mom, being English, knows all these old sayings that don't really exist around in the States. So she's like, "Oh yeah, that's Bob's your uncle."
Yeah. You gotcha. Yeah. It's fun. It was a fun little thing. Now I want to say I have often, early on, I don't do it anymore because I realize, Johnny's belief in this stuff. I busted balls on Johnny for his vegetarian stuff early, but I am outnumbered tonight because not only do we have Johnny, we've got the chef, the guy that actually makes shit vegetarian styly. So,
Yep.
Chef, I wanted to talk to you a little bit. This is weird. I'm very finicky eater, but I love watching cooking shows. So tell us a little bit about what made you decide to become a chef, your path through culinary school or whatever that was. And give us, because I dig chef stuff. I think good chefs are artists just like any other kind of artist.
Well, started out, as a kid, I was working. If I wanted something, I worked for it. We were, I don't know if we were poor or not, but we were pretty close. So I got my first paycheck job at 14, and that was as a busboy dishwasher prep cook at a Mexican restaurant that Mick Man is actually eating at.
Oh, wow.
Called
Okay.
El Chico's in Enid, Oklahoma.
Oh wow.
And so then, high school, delivered pizzas, worked at a Subway during college. And, the career path was be a professional soccer player.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. I won a national championship in 1986, a 2-year college and a 4-year division with over 70 teams in our division. And then, an injury kept me from kind of going any further.
What did you play? I'm a huge soccer guy. What position did you play?
Well, I came off the bench to play pretty much any position,
Okay.
but my strongest was defensive mid.
Okay.
But I was our third string goalie in college because, like I say, we won nationals. We lost 3 games all season. And so when we would get up 3-4 goals, coach would put our 2 goalies up as striker and put me in the net.
Okay.
That way, just in case somebody got lucky and came through, I could stop it.
How tall are you, Eric?
5'6".
Whoa. 5'6"?
not.
Yep.
And they threw you in between the sticks, huh? That's interesting. Oh, that's cool. Okay.
I had hops.
Nice. For
But,
those who don't watch soccer, goalies is typically one of the tallest, if not the tallest position on the field. It's definitely usually a guy
That or
well
full.
over 6 foot for most teams. Keep going, Eric. Sorry to interrupt, but that's,
Oh, no
that's
worries.
cool, 5'6".
It makes sense.
But so then it's like, okay, well, if you want to graduate, you got to have a major. And I was like, well, what am I close to? And they're like, one more history class and you're a history major. Done. Because history is always something I enjoyed. And then, so I graduated with that. But teachers, I could make more in the kitchen than I could as a teacher in 1989.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
just
wow.
went back, and it was never really a career path. It's just something I could always get a job at
Uh-huh.
and something I was good at. And then when I was in my early 20s, just gotten out of the Army Reserves, I was living in Vegas and got a job for a chef that was a Culinary Institute of America Hyde Park top graduate, which at the time was the #1 school in the country and the #3 school in the world. And so I apprenticed as a savory chef underneath him. And then in my early 30s, I apprenticed under a Japanese sushi master who went to academy for 8 years in Okinawa. And that's where he was raised. And so I apprenticed under that. I've done off-premise catering. I've been a restaurant consultant. I've taught cooking classes, both as a kind of a caterer. I'd come in and teach. When I was working at Whole Foods, we had a cooking studio, and I used to teach cooking classes there. And so Scuba, on one of his, this was kind of right as I was getting into the beard community. And he was like, you may not make enough money to live on, but you can make a little side money and have a good time if you know what you're talking about. And so I always wanted something where I could talk about recovery and everything else. And I figured, okay, a cooking channel, I know more about cooking than anything else. And then after an injury, I decided to go plant-based. And I was looking for plant-based recipes, and either they were so overproduced they weren't very good, or they had no personality, or and I still haven't found one channel to subscribe to when it comes to vegan/plant-based food. Just because if I'm going to sit there and watch somebody make something for 15-20 minutes, I want to be entertained as well as learn something. And either I wasn't learning anything or I wasn't entertained. So that's when I decided to kind of do that. And then also plant-based, found it very hard to find companies where everything they had I could use, because beeswax is really popular, emu oil, squalene, not squalene, so that's why I decided I might as well do some vegan men's grooming reviews, so that's kind of how I got into the review side. But that's kind of a little 5-minute, 10-minute thing on how I got here.
That's awesome. So are you currently working as a chef, or?
No, I got out of that industry when I had my little break and went into the hospital and all that stuff. It was just too stressful. Because I was in the position where nobody's going to hire me at $18 an hour to work the line when they can pay somebody minimum wage, and to make the kind of money I was used to, I had to be a general manager or a consultant or, in very high stress positions. So stress and I don't get along good. And plus all the, just the daily activities of people in restaurants, not saying everybody, but a lot of us, like a little,
right.
So, and staying away from that stuff was kind of crucial for me as well. Currently,
go ahead, keep going.
Currently, I'm a registered behavioral therapist. So I work with kids that primarily are on the autism spectrum and other developmental issues. So, some kids are in there that have Down, some kids, autism, and there's so many different things. Now they just call it the spectrum.
Right.
Instead of giving Asperger's and, severe autism and Now it's just the Spectrum. So,
and
I've
I
been
see
doing
you
that
make
for a
those
couple years.
comments time after time in beard
Yeah.
therapy. So I was like, is he doing that and cooking, or is he just? I wasn't quite sure what you were doing.
I still do some personal chef stuff for some clients that I've had for, over a decade here
Nice.
and there. Like, I'm sure with the holidays coming up, I'll cater some holiday parties and stuff. So
That's cool because you still get to have like a foot in it. You don't have to. But because obviously it's a passion, and but it's so funny you said the stress thing. I never thought about chefs as being a stress job. We went to New Orleans, obviously a cooking mecca, one of the cooking meccas in this country, and while about a month before Katrina hit, by the way, while Kelly and the kids are at the zoo and everything, I got to go out on the swamps on an airboat and just do a gator tour and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And, yeah, it was fun. But my captain, the captain of the airboat, said that, and he wasn't looking that. I mean, I was 15 years ago, so I was 35, and he was probably late 40s, early 50s, and we were talking. And he said he used to be a chef, and people asked, well, how did you get to an airborne captain from chef? He said, one day my doctor said if I didn't quit, I'd have a heart attack, and I was like, damn, you're cooking. What is so? And then as I started to learn more and chef TV, cooking TV became more particularly the really well-produced stuff. For any foodies out there, I really love Chef's Table on Netflix. I think it's a wonderful series, and you really get you inside the people and all that jazz. And I was like, damn, that's some serious shit. So when you say that, I can identify. Before I was like, why is it so stressful?
Well, it's because you're getting ready for the push. You're getting ready for the night. You're doing your prep. You're getting stoked up, and then boom, 7:00 comes. All the tables get sat. You're getting flooded with orders, and you're just like right on that edge of being in the weeds or just being okay. And so your stress jumps up to here, and then you got all the tables, and then your stress goes down here.
Yeah.
And then the next rush comes in, and boom. And so to deal with that high fluctuation rate of stress at the end of the night, well, a lot of times we didn't wait till the end of the night. You'd start doing shots around 8:00, after the first push, and or that, or stepping back underneath the hoods and a little,
Yeah.
So
I was a big Anthony Bourdain fan, and he talked about that a lot as he was
Kitchen Confidential, one of the best books out there.
Yep. I've read that. I watched pretty much all of his shows. Was crushed when he took his own life. Man, talk about how depression can hide. And he hadn't been chefing for quite some time. He had been more a journalist and entertainer kind of guy too, but still. A couple interesting comments in here, Chef, real quick. Eric, so when you cater parties like that, this is McMahon, will you cook meat for those folks and just not eat it, or do you only cook plant-based?
No, I cook meat proteins all the time because I'll go over to my mom and dad's, and dad wants a ribeye or a burger or whatever, so if anything's getting grilled in my dad's house, it's my, even though he taught me how to do it years ago, it's one of the things I do since he's in his 80s now. So there's a lot of times that I'll cook meat proteins that I won't eat, and I just know by the way I'm seasoning that it's going to be good.
Yeah, right. You just have that repetition and that muscle memory, if you will.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 14, I was 43 when I stopped restaurants. So,
wow.
29 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I'm watching the Chef's Table just released like a side thing called Chef's Table Barbecue with 4 episodes. And they just did this one on this guy in Australia who cooks solely with fire and nothing else. All right. It took him 4 years to build a restaurant after leaving a Michelin star restaurant in Spain. Took him 4 years to find a place in Australia because it had to be the construction of the place. He couldn't burn it down. Right? So he had to think of all these things that went into the actual construction. There's no electricity in the place. There's no gas in the place. Okay.
Wow.
And he does everything on fire. His salad, he puts lettuce over flame, all these other kind of things. It's really cool. It just mind blowing.
Yeah, I see how he cooks the salad over open flame.
Oh, it's really interesting, John.
I love wilted greens, man. Wilted greens, you get a little bit of that smoke into the earth,
Yeah. So I gave all that build up because is there a certain style of cooking that you prefer to do, grilling, sautéing, baking over any other, and why?
In a restaurant, I loved sauté because saucier is one of my favorite things to do. Now, my specialties are Italian,
Okay.
Pacific Rim, so
Oh.
Thai, Japanese, all that, and then Southern comfort food.
Oh no.
And if you've never been to the South, I'm talking collard greens, fried catfish, hush puppies,
Yeah.
jambalaya, gumbo, Creole, just all that stuff that the rich people would buy all the choice cuts, and then all the crap cuts
Went
is
to
what
the-
everybody else would get,
Right.
and they had to learn how to make them tasty.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's a great thing. I never realized, because I'm a huge rib fan, I never realized that ribs were shit back in the day. Like the whites would take the plantation owners, they would take the prime rib and they'd give the ribs to the slaves because they were like, yeah, screw this. And so now it's kind of flipped around because ribs are one of the more expensive things you can buy at a restaurant that serves a variety of meat. So yeah, it's interesting, and the snout to tail and all that kind of jazz, and using the offal and all the things you can do for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and for a while, offals weren't. And for the people who don't know what offals are, that's all the internal organs. Those were what the peasants used to get when the lord of the manor would, when they would slaughter a cow or a pig, he would get all the choice cuts, and then the intestines and everything else is what the cook was able to keep for his family.
Yeah.
And so for a long time, those were just really frowned upon because if done incorrectly, they can have a very metallic taste like you get if somebody does liver really badly.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And then I would say it was about 18 years ago, then that became kind of the hip thing to do. It was like doing the offals and doing the molecular gastronomy.
Yeah.
That was the hip thing to do. And, now it's moved on to, well, I don't even know, since I haven't been in restaurants in a while, but it's very cyclical too. I mean, rarely, except for the molecular gastronomy, you don't see anything come around in the restaurant industry that hasn't been around before.
Right.
It's just you get some big names that decide to do it, and then it's hip and it makes it in all the culinary magazines, and then all the cooking instructors on Food Network are doing it, and
right.
and then McMahon, it'll hit Oklahoma in about 4 years.
Yeah, everything usually comes from the coasts or maybe Chicago, and then it filters inward. One last thing on this topic while we're here, because I think this guy has an amazing story. Do you know who Grant Aschatz or Aschatz is?
The name's familiar, but I'd have to see him because I'm good with faces. I'm horrible with names.
Okay. He owns a Chicago eatery and he was big into molecular and just doing weird ass shit with the food, like literally going artistic. Okay. Like, like having like balloons made of like sugar, right? Making balloons of sugar that were brought out, all that weird kind of molecular gastronomy, as well as other things. Johnny Grooms, you go to this guy, and by the way, he books, I think, a year in advance. All right. So if you wanted to go to his restaurant, you'd be looking at 2022, probably $500 a person. All right. For the course meal. Right. Mm-hmm. But the stuff he does, at least as art, I can't taste it, but as art, is just mind blowing. And it's like theater, like the way his restaurant is set up, the way he does things. He will throw his dessert course, he would throw it on the table. He spread out like a big piece of wax paper or newspaper and everything. And then he would drop the liquid nitrogen, and it's just mind blowing.
Oh, it's like a show. It's like a show.
Yeah, it's like a show. Exactly.
So it's an experience, really.
That's what you're paying. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, and they do it that way. They just say it's going to be this much because he's going to see what's at the market that day.
Right.
Or what mood he's in that day. Right. And one course is going to lead into the next, and it's kind of a progression. And, with a lot of those style meals, it's maybe 2 or 3 bites per course.
Right.
So there'll be a crescendo, and then it's really cool. It was a culinary dream of mine to go to Il Boli, which was where that's where molecular gastronomy got started.
Yep.
And I still want that cookbook, but the cookbook is like $300. And then you've got to get the liquid nitrogen containers, and it's just money I'd rather spend on maybe some other stuff.
Johnny, El Bulli was a place in Spain where arguably one of the greatest chefs of all time, but definitely in the current time, he had like a whole lab, like the chemistry and all this jazz. And he was always sold out. He made a grip of money. And then he was like, I'm tired of this bullshit. And he shut it down and went on to the next venture. So imagine having Luxurious Bastard, right? Or Fable Beard Co. and Colin saying, this is fun while it lasted, but I want to do everything else. And no more Fable Beard Co., right? Yeah. It's just gone. No more Lux. It's just gone. You would just be kind of like floored. I mean, and this is the kind of stuff that, again, like very expensive, people literally flying in from continents away. It's like a bucket list kind of thing to eat at El Bulli. Yeah. It's really, really cool stuff, Huh. So for those of you who are foodies out there, the Cooking Network and the Food Network's got good shows and stuff, but like just really powerful, impacting shows. The show Chef's Table on Netflix is awesome. And if you love tacos, there's also a show called Taco Chronicles. There are lots of great cooking shows on Netflix that are just the standard competition thing.
Ugly Delicious is wonderful.
Yes, I love. What's his name? Who's the dude? Dave. Is it Dave?
David Tam, or something like that.
Yeah, he's a Korean guy. That's very good, Eric. Ugly Delicious. He is a very down to earth kind of guy. Dude has skills, but he's a very down to earth dude, and he's kind of that's a different experience. A lot of good cooking shit on Netflix.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what's going on in the chat.
Oh, thank you, Daniel.
Brett Berlin, if Luxor Fable did that, Joe, riots would happen. Unless they went on, like, they don't just completely leave the beard game. It would just be like Fable's like, oh, I decided I wanted to go with everything natural. All of my oils now, I'm literally going to grow them in a greenhouse behind the Fable headquarters. It's just the new kind of vibe, the new thing. The chef there didn't leave cooking. He just was like, El Bulli done. I want to move to my next evolution, if you will.
Yeah, Ugly Delicious. It's a good show as well, James Pershing.
Well, yes. Daniel the Bearded Apprentice likes some Ugly Delicious. Awesome. Let's see. Susanna's in the house. Good to see you. Michael Payton. I saw Michael last night in Chris's thing. Clever. What's up, my man? Ryan in the house. Awesome. People are talking about Herbstrong, Johnny Grooms. That seems like a thing that you might know more about than I do. Do you know what this Herbstrong stuff is?
Oh, it's a CBD company.
Oh, okay.
They just make really, good quality, high potency CBD products.
You know what I saw, Johnny Grooms, that I would have totally not paid attention to, but since meeting you, I've seen a few ads on TV. Is ads for Kratom. Kratom. How do you say that?
Really? Kratom?
Kratom.
On TV.
On TV. Huh. Watching the news. I don't know if I think they're trying to pass some kind of legislation or something for it. I don't know where its status is, FDA and all that jazz. And I'm like, oh shit, that's the stuff that Johnny Grooms, at least way back when, used to use.
Yeah, I used to take that. I don't take it anymore. I still have some. I could always just jump on and back out and take it again. It's no big deal. But yeah, I used to take it to manage everything. And instead of taking Adderall, you would like, instead of taking Adderall or something like that to help you like focus and have energy and be hyper and stuff like that, you can do a low dose of Kratom tea, and it would give you like almost the same kind of effects. So it was good. It was good.
And a lot of people use it to get off of opiates.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's rehabs that's one of the main things they use, especially if they're dealing with opiate/heroin addicts. is they'll use that as opposed to Suboxone or something like that
Yeah.
because it's 100% natural. The
Okay,
only thing is it's unregulated, so the quality of the stuff you get and whether you get it from Thailand or
Yeah.
Laos or
Yeah, it's so sketchy too, because like ever since I started posting those kratom things that I was taking and stuff like that, and those little videos, I get companies from all over the place with like real sketchy looking bags, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is our product," and everything like that, and I'm like, "I'm not gonna go to prison."
See, I think the commercial is based on some like across the board legislation for that very reason, Johnny. So we can have regulation on it, and the logo for whoever produced the commercial is like a plant with two leaves. So what is kratom? It's just a plant. Is that its only usage? I mean, do we know? What do we know?
I know it's a member of the coffee family as far as plants.
Okay.
As far as plants, but I didn't really do a lot of in-depth, research about the, origins and how it was cultivated and stuff like that. So that I don't know.
So do you only use it processed, or can you eat it naturally, like just consume the plant itself?
Yeah. You can have it, and they have it in pill form. They have it in capsule form. You can get the powder and make a tea. You can take the powder and you can put it into your food, like it every which way, But
you're going to say something.
Brett knows about it.
Yeah, I saw that. Brett said he uses it to fight his PTSD. Yeah, and pain.
Yeah, and Joe Rogan's done quite a few little things about it as well.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he had the Kratom, or however the guy pronounced it, the guy in America that is the most knowledgeable or whatever. And of course, being on Joe Rogan, some of the stuff got made fun of a little bit and everything, but it was entertaining. I'll put it that way, and very informative.
Yeah, right. It's right. It's from Malaysia. Yeah, and I bought that tea set. I have a review on this tea set, and I used kratom in the how to prep kratom in this tea set, because the way kratom is very similar to matcha tea, matcha powder. They're very similar. Mm-hmm. So I figured, let me just get a matcha tea set, make the kratom with it, and it worked perfectly. I mean, super fine. Like, because the way you're supposed to take kratom is that you're supposed to drink the whole thing. Okay. So you can't leave. If you just put it in your tea and you stir it, it's gonna clump up and it's gonna get nasty, and you have to drink all that, to get the benefit.
Right.
So, but if you whisk it the way I whisked it with that set, it really becomes like truly emulsified into the water. So you're getting the whole thing and very little residues left in your mug. Okay. And found that's like the best way to have it, the best way to prepare it. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know how the best way to say it. Obviously, Eastern cultures like China and Japan have been around a lot longer than Western cultures like us in Europe. So, I think some of this, in this case, Malaysia with the kratom, I give merit to some of these natural cures that obviously have been used for centuries. You just don't often hear about them here in the West unless you come into a dialed-in source. Like, obviously, both of you guys know quite a bit about it. Until I met Johnny, I'd never heard of this stuff, Mm-hmm.
And actually, I learned it from this lady on TikTok. She was talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, let me try it," because she was on similar meds as I was and everything like that, and she's using it for the same purposes that I was. So I said, "Okay, let's try this out." And I said, "Where to find it?" And I found it at my local smoke shop where they sell CBD products. It's like kratom's like right there. I'm like, "Oh, there it is," and that's it.
Yeah, Rob, I went back. After the stream last night, I did the same thing, and I ended up messaging Johnny, and we messaged back and forth for a little bit. But yeah, that was brave.
Yeah,
that was brave.
That's why it takes me like 45 minutes to record a review, because I'm just like, yeah.
Totally. And thanks, Rob. I noticed the Cleveland Brown helmet. And I thought I saw it last night. Thank you for doing that. And I agree, Eric. First word to come to my mind after I watched the video was brave. First word that came to my mind while I watched the video was fucking frustrating, Yeah. And like I said last night, but that's the whole reason JG did it. He literally teleported you into his boots to give you somewhat of an experience of what goes through his head if he's not, on his medicine and stuff. So yeah, it's just a genius thing for John.
Yeah, it was like looking in a mirror for for me a little bit.
Yeah, I'm special.
By the way, Johnny Grooms mentioned fucking TikTok. And Johnny, I saw a post of yours on TikTok today, and that blew me away. I want to believe it. I want to hope it's not trick photography. The one with the eagle, JG.
Oh, I saw that and I freaked out. Because like that was like when my wife got first pregnant, we brought the baby home and all that stuff, and we were walking in the fields, like in the park and stuff like that, taking the baby for a walk on the trail and all that stuff. Like we were in an open field, and that was the first thought that came into my mind, and that stuck with me ever since. And I kept thinking, like, man, if an eagle came down, just swoop up the baby and just fly away with the baby, what are you gonna do? You know? Right. And like, you know, I was talking to my therapist about that, and she was like, "That's the most unlikely scenario ever." She's like, "How could you be scared of that?" She was trying to kind of making fun of me a little bit. And I said, I heard stories where, like, you know, eagles will come down and swoop up small dogs from the backyards, and a baby's not that much bigger, not that much heavier than a small dog. And I'm like, oh my God, what if that really happened? What if that happened? And she goes, you have to stop worrying about that. She goes, like it's not going to happen. She assured me. And then I saw that, I flipped. You're
going to show her that video next time you see her, aren't you, Johnny?
I don't see her anymore.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say it's not like they're the eagles from Lord of the Rings, you know.
Yeah, that's what she was telling me. She's like, they're not. She says, yes, they're big and they can carry some weight, but they're not gonna be able to lift like fly that far with a full grown moving baby. You know, I'm like, I don't know.
Rob Acker's claiming it's CGI from a few years ago.
Oh.
Here's what I will tell you, though, Johnny. Okay. I was a big Kevin Smith, I still am, but I used to listen. Kevin Smith had a ton of podcasts, and I listened to a few of his regularly. And he recounted a time when he lived in California. He lives in a house out in kind of the more I don't want to say rural, but more wooded canyons and stuff. And he had a little Schnauzer dog, and he was outside by the pool, and an owl tried to nab his Schnauzer.
Oh my God.
He fought off the owl with two like badminton rackets, like a pool racket game you would have. He took one of those and was like whacking at the owl, and the owl, he said, gave it a couple shots to get that dachshund before the owl gave it up. So I agree with you. I believe that the larger raptors, they'll come in and snag a small dog or something like that.
Yeah, I know. And that was like, and it was that and sinkholes. I was really like worried about sinkholes.
Sinkholes are interesting. Particularly here in Pennsylvania with all the mining, I don't worry about it. But a lot of where I live, there's a lot of stuff going on under the earth you don't realize.
And like she's like, really? I said, yeah. I said, it's one of those things. Like I was being honest with her. I was telling her like what my fears were, And this is just the two I'll share because they're kind of funny. But yeah, you know what? I heard a story where like it was two brothers. They were at home. One was asleep in his bed. The other one was up. He heard some rumbling. He went into his brother's room, opened the door, sinkhole. His brother was gone. Never found the body. I forgot where I heard that from.
Yeah.
Or I forgot where I read that from. It was so long ago, but that has stuck with me since I heard that story.
See, I come from the land of instantaneous fear, JG, because like out here, if a hurricane's coming or a tornado's coming, But in California, if an earthquake happens, it just fucking happens, right? You're just like, well, who said what?
Tyson's like,
we just had a sinkhole
driveway happen.
Yeah. And that's what I equate it to. Only there is an end to the earthquake. When the sinkhole happens, it happens. So it's not a fear I have, but whenever I see one, I go, fuck.
Yeah. What if you fall down there? Like, how deep does that go? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Tornado Alley, so
yes,
I'm used to all that stuff. Yeah. But when I was living in Vegas, I remember one morning I got woke up because a book fell from the thing, hit me on the head. I just figured it was me being a restless sleeper, And so then I was cleaning our pool in the backyard, and all of a sudden the water starts to shimmer, and then the ground started to shake. Fuck that, man. The ground is not supposed to shake. That's wrong. You know, give me a tornado warning. I can go light some candles, get in the basement. I'm good. But yeah, when the Earth's not supposed to shake, that's just wrong.
That's so funny, Eric, because coming from the West and coming out here, give me an earthquake over a tornado any freaking day. Because I know an earthquake, if I'm at home, I just run outside to where there's nothing around me, and then I got no worries, right? Unless I'm at the epicenter, which where I live, there were no epicenters. You always got, from somewhere 100 miles away or whatever. But a tornado, man, if that thing's coming, there's no running away from that shit. You are going to get, yes, you could live through it because you go down to your cellar or whatever, but, that's going to be bringing some pain, blues, and agony, as Dusty Rhodes would say. The earthquake's going to be done in a few seconds, right?
Well, you get some aftershocks.
You do have the aftershocks. But the one thing you usually don't have, particularly in Nevada or California, is just wanton destruction like you get in a tornado. Unless you have a biggie like, hit the Bay Area in the late 80s, etc.
I remember watching that, what was it, a World Series game?
Giants A's, the Bay Series, yep.
Yeah, I remember watching that. That was wild. And even then I was thinking, man, screw earthquakes. Like I say, tornadoes were pretty cool,
Yeah.
You can look and you can kind of know by the smell. And, as McMahon could tell you, you see those sort of fronts coming and, it's going to happen. And once you're kind of out of the path, then you get up on top of the roof and watch it just kind of skip across town, waylay and everything in sight. It's pretty amazing thing to see.
A clever beard. I will say, I think I wanted to always be one of those storm chasers, because I thought that's such a cool job because I love rain and I love hail, as long as I'm not paying insurance bills. But you're right. Someone said tornadoes are beautiful. I think they're amazing to watch. An earthquake you can never see. You only see what's going on around you. But, a tornado, and really you don't see a hurricane either. You see the wind effects, but a tornado you actually fucking see. And I think they are gorgeous, even if destructive. But speaking of our boy McMahon, and speaking of posts, McMahon, would you adopt my ass, please? Because I mean, did you see what he got? He was like 3 beard mail posts or something today.
No, I didn't.
Oh my God! I swear he bought half of Anointed AK's warehouse, dude.
Oh yeah, the Anointed AK stuff. Yeah, I saw that.
And then he had the washes, and then I think he got some peep in as well. Holy mackerel! I want to be your son.
Hey,
More scared of the sellers than the tornadoes? Yeah, I can kind of see that depending on what seller you're talking about, that's for sure.
Swazana, I'm writing that name down right now because I love looking at weather, brother. Thank you for that suggestion. Pecos, what? Pecos Hank. I will be checking that out.
Yeah, Brett. I grew up as a little kid in Hutchinson, Kansas. If Bobby Baden Bearded's in here, that's where he's from. And then in 7th grade, I moved down to Oklahoma, the northern part in Enid, Oklahoma. So, I remember one time when we were coming back to my grandpa's farm in Colorado, I was in the back seat of the station wagon, that faces to the rear of the car. And I was like, Dad, there's a tornado. And he's like, how far? And I'm like, oh, looks like about a mile. And, we had a 1976 Ford LTD station wagon with a 454. He put the pedal all the way down, and that thing was catching us. And I've never been so scared because I'm seeing it's just skipping from one side of the highway to the other. And I'm seeing it, and it got to where it was about maybe quarter mile, third of a mile, when it just abruptly changed course. But man, I think I might have soiled myself. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But that wasn't fun.
Eric, I'm not a car guy, but when you said 454 in station wagon, there was some incongruous connection there. I think 454. I'm thinking something with a little more heft to it.
Yeah. Well, that
was back in the day, though, right?
Yeah. you know, it was 1976, and
Right.
that was a lot of metal to be moving up and down the road. So it needed, it needed that 454.
Yep. Because it was all metal in those
Yeah,
days.
station wagons. Yeah, those were, and they were big too. They were
Yeah.
long.
No, it wasn't vacation type of
Okay.
station wagon. It wasn't one of those, but it was a pretty big guy.
Yeah, it's Ryan, Clever Beard Co. Ryan, it's funny you said that. I'd heard the term derecho, and then I heard about it more, and I learned what it is. In California, we have the Santa Ana winds as well as El Nino. I know some of you know of El Nino or La Nina, but the Santa Ana winds are always the thing in Southern California. Those Santa Ana winds are responsible for a lot of those forest fires, too, after ignition, the way they spread and stuff. But yeah, I love local weather terminology. Does anyone out there now see? You Oklahoma boys, you're dealing with the big stuff, but out here we get this term microburst. Do you know that term, Eric?
I know dust devils.
I guess what a microburst is when something touches down for the briefest of moments that has all the characteristics of a tornado. So you don't get the cool, big, windy stuff, but you get all of those storm effects, and it goes boom for like a couple seconds, and then it's gone. So that term I've heard a lot in Western PA, and that may stretch into Eastern Ohio, microburst. Anyone in the chat know what a microburst is?
That's a new one on me.
Yeah.
I never heard of it.
Yeah. Oh, Rob Brennan saying Chronic has a special cancer awareness bundle for sale for anyone who wants to do that.
It's a orange creamsicle.
Orange creamsicle.
And Twitch Beard has some cancer T-shirts with the Twitch Beard logo here, and then the cancer ribbon, and he's doing a percentage of those sales are going to a local cancer charity as well.
Awesome. I know that I heard Beard Like Joe, he's gearing up for another charity live giveaway kind of thing, and I know in a couple weeks I'll be on with Bearded Andy. This October is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. We'll be on at the end of the month. Ariana, my daughter, will be on with me. Unfortunately, Prax's grandson, Van, who has Down syndrome, I don't think will be there, but he's trying to get some stuff together for charity to donate to the local Arizona Down syndrome chapter as well.
Yeah, I heard him talking about that on Beers and Desserts last Friday.
Cool.
Yeah.
My daughter gets so excited. She did one last year, and she was so tickled, and she loves Andy, and now she's just like, oh.
And what the heck is a haboob? I've grabbed da boobs, but I don't know what a haboob
Yeah, you had me a boob. A boob.
James Pershing has heard of a microburst. Have you been in a haboob? I don't know if I want to have been. It sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one.
I think getting into haboob that's wearing a hijab might be some sort of sexual, kink sort of category you can find at a porn website.
Let me just Google it.
Haboobs and hijab
for this area.
Let me see what that is.
Ryan, Gary, you had me a boob.
Oh, okay. It's a legit weather thing. It's a violent wind. It's a violent wind. It's like a sandstorm.
Oh, okay.
Dust storm. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, when I lived out in Vegas, we used to go do all kinds of stuff down in Joshua Tree and out in the desert.
My grandma used to live in Yucca Valley, man.
Wow.
Yeah, she moved from Inglewood, right on the flat flight plan of LAX. And then when they retired, my grandfather was a postman for many, many years after World War II. They moved up to Yucca Valley back when it was literally a one-stoplight town when they moved there in '77.
Wow.
So I know me some Joshua Tree.
It's called Joshua Tree.
There's a national forest and a city called Joshua Tree, and there's a huge marine base very close to there in a city called 29 Palms. But it's called, yes, training base. It's called the High Desert in California, Johnny, because it's about 3,000 or 4,000 feet, maybe 5,000 feet above sea level. So you have Palm Springs, which is at approximately sea level, where everyone knows about, and then you have the High Desert in the mountains there, where Joshua Tree and Yucca Valley and 29 Palms are.
Uh-huh.
kind of
And
near where Lux is.
Also, an amazing album. U2.
Yes, very true.
Hmm.
And a cool video shot there. Foo Fighters did a series on HBO when Grohl was writing their most recent album at that time. And I remember one song, they were out shooting the video to it, and Joe Walsh does a guitar solo during the song. A great little solo, but they're filming in Joshua Tree in the National Forest at some point as the sun is setting, and it's just beautiful. And for those of you out there, it's a Joshua Tree forest, so it's not quite the same forest that you might be thinking of. It's a bunch of damn Joshua trees and yuccas.
It's not where Steely Dan is, in other words.
I bet Gary had a huge response, half typed out, and JG just that's what JG does, man. He's the calm, brother.
I don't know.
My favorite U2 album. Yeah, it's definitely probably up there. That or War are my favorite U2 albums.
And the cool thing about Joshua Tree is when they were doing the tour for Joshua Tree, that's when they shot Rattle and Hum.
Yep.
And that's when B.B. King got on stage with them down at Reunion Arena, and they filmed part of it at Denver McNichols. And and McNichols was where the very first UFC was held as well.
Oh, really? Really? Okay, interesting. I had the luxury, and it truly was a luxury because a friend invited me along to go to the US Festival in 1983 at 16, and that was a 3-day rock festival. It was supposed to be like the 80s Woodstock up near San Bernardino, where you had a new wave day, a heavy metal day, and then a kind of miscellaneous day. And U2 was, I don't know, act 2 or 3 on the miscellaneous day, and they stole the fucking show. That was the first, that's actually the only time I've seen U2 live. But even way back then, you just knew these guys were going to be doing something. They were great.
I've seen them multiple times. My favorite show of theirs was in Vegas. It was the Zoo TV tour. Here's the lineup: Sugar Cubes, and for those who don't know that, the girl Bjork that has the whole
ostrich thingy.
Yeah, she was the lead singer.
Okay.
Second band, Public Enemy.
Oh, now you're talking.
And then U2.
Oh wow,
and
that's an interesting lineup.
Yeah, and I saw an interview with Chuck D and Bono, and they said, well, we've been friends for a while, and we figured why not tour together? And that way my fans will get to hear your music, and your fans will get to hear my music.
Right.
And so it was an insane concert, and the people that were sitting next to us that we were passing things back and forth, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're like, who's this Public Enemy? And I'm like, very political. I wouldn't call them gangster rap because they're too intelligent.
Yeah.
But they come out, and first thing you see is a guy come out on stage in a Klan outfit. And then Flavor Flav comes and chases him off. And so whenever they wanted a break, they would have this Klan guy come out and talk all kinds of racist stuff. And then right before they did Fight the Power, all of a sudden you see the KKK guy getting strung up in the back of the stage.
Awesome.
And they did Fight the Power. But the coolest thing was they had these 2 giant towers on each side of the stage with VW bugs hanging from them. And you just thought, okay, that's a weird set piece, but looks cool. Well, then when Bono and the Edge and those guys get on this little, thing goes out into the audience, these things lower, the bugs tilt up, and then spotlights come out from where the headlights would have been.
Okay.
And
cool.
So they were just a really cool graphic spotlight and just an amazing show.
Now, where did you see that in Vegas? Like at a stadium?
Yeah, Sam Boyd Silver Bowl.
Okay.
Same place I used to go see the Dead every year for 3 shows straight.
Oh, the Dead. Yeah. Yes.
I feel like whenever I hear stories like this, like I feel like I never lived. You've done so much. Like it's like I haven't done anything.
Well, it's just a concert, JG.
Well, but like he's gone to a lot of concerts, had a lot of experiences, and lived like fully. And whenever I hear someone talk like, the same way, and tell me all their stories and everything that they've done, I'm like, I haven't done shit. I've kicked the can down the street. Comparison.
Music music has been a passion of mine since I was a kid. I mean,
Yeah.
starting in, I think choir started in kindergarten or first grade, and then getting into high school and being in ensembles and solos and starting to get in rock bands. And, I was seeing one major concert, either driving to Tulsa or Oklahoma City at least once a month to catch a big show. And, then a while back when I was trying to figure out what I want to do for a career after restaurants, I got into working at soccer games so I could watch the Rapids for free. And
Nice.
got to know the managers and stuff, and then got to work backstage at concerts. And, when I was a draft beer tech, I worked up at Red Rocks concerts. So
Beautiful.
being
Beautiful.
going is just a fan, and being there as an employee, I've been to over 1,000 shows easily.
Wow.
And just at Red Rocks alone, I've been to over 200. And Red Rocks is the best outdoor venue, hands down, bar none,
Mm-hmm.
except for maybe when Pink Floyd performed at the Pyramids. That was pretty badass. But
Speaking of U2 did From War. They did a concert at Red Rocks, but
Mhm.
they used the video at MTV at the time from their concert at Red Rocks for Sunday Bloody Sunday.
Yeah.
It's just a gorgeous natural amphitheater that they turned into a concert venue that,
Mhm.
to me, I know that in pro wrestling, you always wanted to perform at Budokan, and that was the weird thing that I think translated over to music. When you went to play Japan, you wanted to play Budokan, and Cheap Trick,
Mhm.
of course, had the live at Budokan album, right?
great double album.
Great double album. Cheap Trick was my first ever piece of vinyl long play, right? And here, I just think if there is a concert mecca, if it's not Red Rocks in number one, it's got to be in 1, 2, or 3. It's and I've never been there. I've just seen lots of stuff from there. And you live in Colorado. That's awesome. Now,
Well, the cool thing is, back when I was a draft beer tech, and this was in the early 2000s, they hadn't remodeled it yet. So the main beer cooler was literally right underneath the stage. So I had backstage passes so I could go, back there, and I got an extra pass for a friend. So we'd get there an hour before gates. I'd go around and quality check all the different places selling Guinness and Craft Tire.
Yeah.
Where they're all pouring good. And then, say Radiohead was there. I brought a friend that liked Radiohead, and he'd get to pick his seat out or whatever. My brother's favorite artist was Sting. So when Sting came, we watched almost the whole concert from the side of the stage.
yeah.
I got to meet Ringo Starr there. I mean, my mom's English. Her older sisters both saw the Beatles. She never got to. And she finally got bragging rights because I got to meet Ringo Starr.
That's awesome, man. That's very, very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah, but backstage, from where the dressing rooms are up the ramps to get to the stage, they've got pictures of all these just epic. The Beatles, when they toured in '64, played Red Rocks.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
The Doors
wow.
played Red Rocks, and just all these, all these different acts, and from every different style of music.
Eric, how long has it been open as a venue? I thought it opened in the 70s. How long?
It's been open since the 60s.
Okay. All right.
And a friend of mine, his dad had a sound and lighting company, and one of his contracts was Red Rocks. So my buddy was at both those U2 concerts where they filmed Sunday Bloody Sunday, but because the storm and everything got so bad, they called the concert. They're like, nope, done. We're not going to get these guys electrocuted. So they came back the next day, shot again. Canceled. And then the third day, they honored all those tickets at a smaller club in Boulder on like a Sunday night. And he got to go to all those shows. He got to see The Who at Red Rocks. He got to see The Clash at Red Rocks.
Oh, that's my band, Eric.
Yeah.
I got to see
Robber, favorite song.
What's that?
Bank Robber is definitely my favorite song of The Clash.
Bank Robber, going for some early kind of like a reggae vibe with Bank Robber. That's the one thing about The Clash. They're known as a punk band, but they were one of the pioneering British bands because Joe Strummer and Mick Jones both are very interested in world music, which
very
is
intelligent guys. Yeah.
Very intelligent guys, and which is why Sandinista is, such a diversified album, because they were playing with that. I was lucky enough to go to my wife and I during, I think it was President's Day this year. We took a trip to Cleveland and went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I got to see the Elvis album that London Calling was a copy of, because it's the album of the Clash's London Calling is a ripoff of an old Elvis Presley album, and I was like, oh, so for whatever. And there was some Clash shit there. That was fine. But I was like, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Joe Strummer died way too young, man. Way too young.
Yep. And if you like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you want to go to a better one, the Experience Music Project in Seattle. Josh Allen, co-founder of Microsoft.
Yes.
Failed musician, had one of my brother's best friends in Seattle was a sound engineer, and he worked for Vulcan Sound, which was Josh Allen's little baby of music production software.
Oh, interesting.
And so biggest Jimi Hendrix exhibit, being that he's from Seattle and his family.
Yeah.
Let everything be used there. Then you get all the stuff from Nirvana and the Presidents of the United States and, Soundgarden and all those. So they had their own little wing. And when you walk in, it's just this tower. I think it's like 1,200 different types of guitars, electric guitars.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's
wow.
just
That's crazy.
It's funny you mentioned Jimi Hendrix. Jimmy, before he became a rock musician, thought himself a bit of an artist. Okay. And so in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they had a bunch of his original art. He was a big football fan, and this is and he did a bunch of drawings of Pac-10 football teams.
Yeah, because that's where he grew up. Yeah.
So that's his Oregon Ducks, and he did them all. Let me pull back real quick here. He did a Trojan one. He did a Bruin one. Yeah, here's his UCLA Bruin sketch. So there's the interesting damn thing is, whether you think Jimi Hendrix was a great artist or not, they had that. And I was just blown away by it, because you have all these Jimi Hendrix original color sketches. Where in the heck are you going to get a chance to see that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
But you know what, Eric? And I'm not going to pick on my audience, but they're sitting there talking about Bilberry and shit. Like there's a beard show supposed to be going on here. We're talking about cooking and music and all sorts of other shit. So let's deal with this beard stuff going on in our audience. Let's see. Damn, how did we miss it by 1 minute? D93. Stax Museum of Soul. Yes. Swazana, that's a place I want to go.
Yeah.
McMahon. Okay, let's scrap the music talk and get nasty. All right. I wanna placate the audience, but we have a cultured guest here right now. You sons of bitches, you Cro-Magnons. God,
sharing his life here.
Yeah. But he did say, because he knows how to play to an audience, that he had a great bridge story. So let's start off with your bridge story, Eric.
All right. Some of you might get a little uncomfortable at this, and you should. But I was working one night, and this was in October of 2013 to set the mood. I was working a show at the Paramount Theater in Denver, and one of my boys was just not feeling good. So I get home, and there's a little swelling action going on. And I'm like, it's my boys. I'm going to the emergency room, and I'm getting these guys taken care of, My guys got to take care of them.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you're diabetic. And, yeah, there's some swelling there. So, yeah, we're just going to admit you and keep an eye on you. Well, by the next morning, yeah, this blue microphone's almost a good representation. But
oh, my God.
My scrotum was about like that. So they had to do 3 different surgeries, removing all the necrotic tissue. So at the time they were done, 95% of my scrotum was gone. Boys are just out in the open. At the time, I'm on morphine. I'm on Dilaudid. I'm on Vicodin, and I'm on Percocet, and I've got the morphine drip, and I'm still in outrageous pain. But because they screwed up on my aftercare on, how everything was supposed to get taken care of, originally they were going to do a graft, from my thigh and recreate the scrotum. Well, because of all the red tape and everything else, it just kind of started to grow back on its own. And so by the time I do get to see the surgeon and possibly talk about, a graft and everything, he's like, well, in about 3 or 4 weeks, it's going to be almost closed. And I'm at this point, I'm still too scared to look down there. But cut to the end. Basically, right now, I've got all that 5% left of the scrotum. Everything kind of grew back around that. So my taint has some texture to it. We'll put it that way. And now I've got the sack of a 10-year-old, but yeah. So when I hear all this taint talk, I knew I was meant to be in this community.
Wow.
Oh, that's a coin. That story is worth a freaking coin, Johnny Grooms. You marked. I'm going 2. We're going to double up on that one.
One for each boy?
One for each boy. There you go. What was the malady, Eric? What caused all of that?
They said it was a few things. It could have been an infection. It could have been an ingrown hair,
What? Oh,
An ingrown hair?
Ingrown hair?
Yeah, an ingrown hair could have gone out. I think what happened was I went in and I think I got an infection. I think everything was a little messed up to begin with, but I think it got worse in the hospital. I think I got staph or something.
Okay.
Because
worse.
It didn't get really bad until I was admitted.
And this is because they messed up on you, like they botched something on your end, and
No,
that's
they
what
didn't
happened.
botch
Or?
anything, but they only wanted to remove as much necrotic tissue, and that's for dead tissue.
Yeah,
And
right.
I didn't know at the time, but the doctors told my folks that basically I was like this close to dying the whole time.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
From like what, blood poisoning or something like that?
Yeah, that's why they did the 3 surgeries to get rid of all that necrotic tissue,
Oh.
and why they removed everything as much as they did, because like say that much was kind of necrotic, well, they would move that much around it to make
Yeah, they have to. Yeah.
spread.
Wow.
So you probably had that for a while. You just didn't know it, right? Yeah, because that doesn't just spring up out of nowhere and all of a sudden you get swollen. I mean, that had to have happened over time. You probably had no idea.
All I know is, I was at work and it felt like somebody was just all day
Oh,
with the flick.
just doing that all day.
Oh god.
some comments in the chat. Does it look like cauliflower? Rob Acker wants to know. Is that the texture? That's comment number 1. Number 2 is Michael Payton. Hello, ladies. Fun fact, my taint has texture. And number 3 was Beard Code. Now, that's how you kick off D93 with a proper
Wow.
story. We gave them Red Rocks. We gave them Hendrix. We gave them all this stuff. And everyone loves that. Well, I don't know about love. But that is a memorable damn story there, Eric. Thank you for sharing that. That's
I
great.
had some of my really good friends were like, well, I've got a Crown Royal bag at home. I can just bring that down to the hospital for you. And then they're like, well, let's make one of silk and embroider your name on it. And so
Wow.
I'm just doped up out of my gourd, and I'm just finding all this hilarious,
Gee.
Rather get him on the bike chain. Yeah, that probably would have been more. That probably would have been a lot, maybe more pain, but definitely quicker, in and out. Rob, I agree with you.
Okay, Eric, give me that year again.
2013.
Now, you've been sober for 9 years, though, right?
Yeah.
So did all of those opiates and the things you were taking for pain, did that mess with your stuff at all, or were you okay to get off of that?
Well, once I got, I was living in Denver, actually Old Town Arvada, and I recovered down here at my parents', and my parents knowing my history, they had a whole chart set up, and if they could have done a spreadsheet, I'm sure they would have. But they only gave me what I needed when I needed it.
Okay.
And as soon as I could, because I didn't want, to get all jacked up and start Jones and everything again.
Right.
Luckily, opiates were never my thing.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
yeah, I had my parents there, and they administered all my meds, so there wasn't me going, okay, I'm in pain, give me another one, and they were there to kind of take care of.
Wow, man, that story has layers when you think of all the stuff going on. You almost died. You were recently, a couple years, recovered addict on the road to recovery for a couple years.
Yep.
Got a huge up there.
Yeah, 2011 was when I got sober, and this was 2013. So, yeah,
what a crazy
2 years
story.
into my recovery, and I really took a shot to the nuts, if you know what I'm saying.
Man.
Well, there
That's
you
an
go, you
understatement.
barbarians. You got an amazing story for that one.
Wow.
Can you light a match on your
That's
thing?
fucking Gary, man.
Oh. Yeah.
It's not sandpaper; it's textured.
Oh,
It's like his bridge has like the little tuft that hangs off of a goat's.
Is it like the
chin.
top of the knuckle? Is it like the top of the knuckle?
Is it this shit right here,
Is
Eric?
it like that? Oh,
Is
okay.
it the elbow skin shit, Eric? Oh my god!
And congrats on that 11 years, Mick. That is freaking awesome.
Oh, wow.
I'm
Now,
the
does-
king of opium. Oh,
Does
good.
that
for you.
does that affect any function, or like that's how everything's normal?
Yeah, everything seems to be fine.
Okay.
I've been so busy working on this, I haven't been doing any dating or anything.
Mhm.
So I have yet to get a female perspective on how everything looks down there.
What a great conversation. Record that shit, and then we'll have you back on therapy after you. Apparently, Brett Berlin has a nasty story, and he needs an invite to the chat. That I guess is okay. So the theme for Dirty 930 tonight is fucking horrible things happen to your
All right. So, all right.
bridge and other areas.
Let me grab him.
All right, Brett. Johnny's on the comm. He's sending you the good stuff. Holy mackerel!
Yeah, Gary, texture taint. I'd say more like to the sound of Tainted Love.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my God, Gary! If you don't capitalize on this, you've got that artist. You call the damn scent Tainted Love. You slap Eric's face on it and some other horrible thing for your artist. Booyah. The money is print. I hear the money printing, Gary. I hear it printing right now. That can be Chef's collab. Tainted Love.
Tainted Love. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. I sent it. That's a pretty good idea. Tainted. Wow.
That was Eric's. Good stuff.
That was a really good. That's a good name. I don't.
Chocolate and nuts.
And nuts.
See, this shit writes itself. Throw it into Gary's wheelhouse, and he's already thinking scent profiles. Oh shit!
There's Brett.
All right, so this story is not for the faint of heart.
Neither was the last one. So there you go.
Bring
Or
it.
faint of fart, whichever you want to put it at. So if you were paying attention to the chat, I said look up pilonidal cyst. And basically when he said that it could have been an ingrown hair, that's what a pilonidal cyst starts as. It starts as an ingrown hair, and then it spiders out and attaches to your coccyx. And if you don't get it fixed, it'll just keep festering and festering and growing and growing. And it's basically like one of those back popping videos.
Yeah.
But it's on your ass crack that's right above your ass crack.
Where the
Yeah,
coccyx
Dr.
is.
Pimple Popper.
Right. So if it gets impacted, it's extremely painful, and someone has to pop it to relieve the pressure or lance it.
Okay.
So that was from 2006 until 2000. What was it? 2015. Till 2015, that was my wife's job because she's a nurse. She would pop that cyst when it would get nasty, and it stunk. Yeah. So first funny part of this whole thing, she was working as a beautician at the time doing nails, and just before she had gone to work, I needed that pinched, and so she did, and it shot, and she cleaned up and went to work and whatever.
Brett,
And
I don't mean to interrupt, but how often would that thing have to be like milked?
Every
3 months.
Yeah, well, depending on how big it was, every 2 to 3 months,
Okay.
but sometimes it could be every week.
Oh, damn. Okay. All right.
So anyway, she quote unquote milked it this one day,
Uh-huh.
as you so eloquently put it, and went to work and kept asking people, do I stink? Like, what? Something smells. I mean, I took a shower, but I smell shit. What is going on? And that cyst juice got up in her nose.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what.
Wait, the smell did or the actual
Hold on.
juice?
The actual shit
She's
from
trying-
the hair, Johnny.
She's trying to prompt the story, but I haven't gotten there yet. So then a couple years later, we went to a job fair on Fort Riley. And
Wait. God damn it, Brett. A couple years? You haven't had this shit attended to in 2 years? You just let it roll?
they wouldn't do anything.
Oh.
Every time I would go there,
Nothing?
nothing. They would just tell me, well, go ahead and lance it, blah, blah, blah. I'm
And
getting
just
to
drain
the
it.
juiciness,
Okay.
literally to the juiciness.
Sorry, I just love details. Keep going.
So we go to this job fair, my wife and I, and it had gotten really bad a couple days before the job fair to the point I couldn't sit.
Okay.
And this job fair is 45 minutes away. And I was like, babe, I can't go. And she's like, no, you have to go. There's job opportunities here, blah, blah, blah. So we go to this job fair and we get done. And I mean, I'm walking funny because I could hardly walk. We go to eat. And I sit down in the booth and immediately the pain was gone. And she goes, yeah. So she's like, how do you feel? I was like, I feel fine. Like, I don't hurt anymore. I don't know what's going on. We get home and I untuck my shirt and I'm wearing a white button down shirt with a tie. The part that was tucked in all the way down was completely blood soaked and red and full of pus. Yeah. I flipped the fingers. Yeah, I got it. So then,
Fuck you guys.
yeah. So then it got okay. So here, hold the camera, babe. Okay. So I'm gonna
Well, we
stand
don't
up
need to
so
see
you
it.
where I'm not gonna pull my pants down. Don't worry. But here's my butt crack, and it spidered from my butt crack all the way around to my hip, and started going down my hip.
Oh my God.
And inside it tunneled. So I ended up having to go to the emergency room. And when I walked in, the lady, the nurse practitioner who was going to take care of this was like, okay, so what's the problem? Blah, blah, blah. We tell her and she's like, okay, well, pull your pants down. Let me see what the issue is, which was embarrassing in and of itself. So I'm laying on the bed and they shot the Novocaine so they could lance it. Now, I didn't see this. I wanted to, but my wife told me about it. As soon as they lanced it, it was so impacted that the pus hit the ceiling in the room. No, I'm not kidding. So a steady stream went to the ceiling, like a fountain. Like you would go to a shopping mall and there's a fountain sprinting out, or like when you go to Walt Disney World and you have the dancing fountains.
Oh,
Yeah, that was coming out of my ass.
Wow.
So I ended up having to go to the VA to get this scheduled to have it removed because I couldn't do it anymore. So I go up there, and this is like
what year is this? How long have you had this at this point?
Okay, it started in 2006,
Okay.
And this is about, I think, 2015 or 2016. Yeah.
You've had a decade of this shit.
They kept telling me they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. So this is literally the 4th time I've gone to the VA for this. And the guy that was in there was blowing me off. He's like, oh, well, we'll take care of it in the office. I'm like, I'm telling you, you're not going to. He's like, well, you don't. Okay, just let me do my job. I said, okay, whatever, dude. So I pull my pants down, and the look on his face was priceless. He's like, I got to go get my colleague. I was like, I fucking told you, dude. So he walks out. He goes and gets his boss, and she comes in and was like, okay, so you need to go to your computer, and you need to schedule immediate surgery with Dr. So-and-so, and he needs to come in, and we need to get this taken care of. So I go in there, and they had removed so much tissue and necrotic area that what was probably the size of a overgrown like walnut from the outside ended up being the size of a ginormous apple. My wife's fist could fit in the hole that they removed once it was all said and done.
Because it
And so
tunneled?
because it tunneled, they had to take all that area out, and they couldn't close it. So for almost 3 months, every other day, I was having to go to the doctor so that he could. Or no. For the first month, it was every other day. I was going down there so he could look at it. And then after that, my wife ended up having to put the gauze in my second asshole and put it over top. And then it would have to be changed so often.
That's painful.
And I couldn't. Wow. Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's very painful.
You have to debride it at all?
Yeah, you got to take it out.
Yeah, she had to take the gauze out, put a saline solution type in there.
Oh my
God! I did that for my brother.
It was literally one of the most painful experiences I've ever had to go through.
Fucking Brett, you can't do this to us. We need the payoff. Show us your fucking ass, dude.
Okay.
Show
Are
us
you serious?
I'm okay.
Well, it's. I mean, it's not his butt, but like.
Yeah.
It's,
all right.
It's the gauze.
We've got people in the chat wanting to see it. All right.
It's the crack above the crack.
Back down the hatches. You wanted Dirty 930. You got it. Oh! Shit! Brett's got the Colorado River running down his ass. What the hell was that indentation, man? Oh my God!
That's what they removed.
Oh my God!
Wow. Now, here's the levity of this whole thing.
I'm glad you could find some.
You know, we all know I've got a 5-year-old son.
Yeah.
So it had already healed, but it was the new fresh tissue. And I'm going to the bathroom, peeing, and he stands there, and the next thing I feel is right in that hole. And I let out a yelp, and Carrie comes in. She's like, what happened? And I told her I had to clean the wall because that was like in midstream. And I had to clean it off because my son was like with his little finger right in my second butthole.
Oh my
God. Say hi, buddy.
That's an oil.
He's like, hi.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
all right.
I just want to say real quick. Let's see real quick. Right now, there are 23 of us watching, 4 on the screen. Let's call it 30. We have got 2 hellacious stories and 30 dudes. How many more are freaking out there, man?
I got one more, and it's not from my butt. I got one more, and it's not from my butt.
What the fuck? Where's it from, Brett?
My inner thigh.
Oh yeah, give me some good inner thigh juice. Yeah,
I got a boil on my inner thigh that was huge, and I couldn't get it to break. We couldn't do anything. My dad was telling me put a warm compress on it, blah blah blah. So we did for about 45 minutes, but it just wouldn't pop. And Carrie was pushing it. Now she's sitting across from me at this point in a gray tank top.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, just give it a good squeeze.
Famous last words.
Famous. Well, it was, if I could have videotaped this whole experience, it would have made YouTube gold.
Yeah.
Because as soon as she said that, and I literally, this is the sound I heard.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then the look on her face was like, what the fuck just happened?
And she's a
it
nurse.
looked like
She's a nurse. Let's remind everyone that.
But it looked like someone point blank shot her in the chest with a shotgun. And not only did it get her, she's dying laughing.
I can hear
not
her.
only did it get her, it got the wall, it got the clothes behind it, everything. And I'm in awe, like, oh my God, that just came out of my leg. And she's like, oh, what the hell?
Now, was this an ingrown hair, a staph infection? What the hell was
Probably an ingrown hair.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I am fat. I mean, I'm surprised I haven't caught fire between my legs. But they rub together that it just, that friction, and then it builds up ingrown. Yeah, I get them all over, but not that one and the one on my ass are literally the biggest ones.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So there you have it. Yeah, she deserves a coin.
Yeah.
She deserves a whole slew of coins
I
for
gotta
having
tell
to
you.
deal with pus in the nose and then having the shotgun in the chest
She gets a
and then
roll
all
of
the
coins.
what's that?
No,
She gets a roll of coins, like you
Yeah,
get
no
a roll
kidding.
of quarters.
What?
there is certain nastiness we might expect our wives to deal with in substances, etc. But that goes way beyond the pale, right there. So she for sure
I
gets a
don't-
coin. All right, she for sure gets a coin.
I don't think in 2008 when she said for better or worse, that was what she intended on the worst being.
No doubt. No woman ever thinks that that's going to go down.
Oh, but she's a
Holy
trooper
cow.
though.
That's
But
awful.
she loved it. She never complained because if she goes back into nursing, that's what she wants to. One of the fields she might want to do is going into that, like being she just said it. I didn't hear it. The dermatologist office is a nurse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it doesn't phase her. Like other people, that would have happened and they'd have either passed out or been like, not her.
Yeah, my wife can't stand that. Meanwhile, Savage, my youngest daughter, she loves popping shit. So if I ever have a random this, that, or the other thing, she's like, Dad, can I pop that? I'm like, yeah, fucking knock yourself out. You know, and my wife will be in the same room and my wife will be like, so you got a trooper.
Like we'll sit there when we figured out how to Bluetooth our phones to the big screen TV, or that YouTube was actually available on the new TVs, we were like in heaven because Dr. Pimple Popper was way better.
Michael Payton says in the chat, or sorry, Swazana says in the chat, quote unquote, she loved it. When you said that, I thought the same thing that I think Swazana was thinking, like, she fucking tolerated it, dude. I don't know that I'd go so far as she loved it.
No, you don't. No, you have to know Carrie.
Oh, really?
She
So she
loved it.
Because
Now,
I know
I'm not saying she likes going to work smelling like, having that shit smell in her nose, but she was in heaven. Well, think about it. Any anger she had towards me, she took it out on my sis.
Brett, do you see the comment there from Rob Acker?
You must sling one hell of a log. No, it's a Tic Tac. I told you guys that.
Oh yeah, so I do remember him saying that. Yeah.
Remember, he said his son is
Contact lens and a Band-Aid. I get jealous at fleas.
God damn. That is some dirty 930 right there, you sons of bitches. Holy cow. Holy cow.
God,
Well, you wanted it, you got it.
now I can say I know a man with 2 ass cracks.
Yep.
And you know a man with a texture taint.
Well, a
Yeah,
longer
texture taint,
ass
yeah.
crack,
we
2 holes.
can call Eric stucco taint, I guess, and then that would work.
2 holes.
The stucco
That
bridge
could be my rapper name. 2 holes.
2 holes. Yeah.
With a Z.
with a Z.
Yeah, DJ 2 holes.
Oh,
And you could be my sidekick. It's DJ 2 holes and what? No, whatever nickname we come up with for his taint.
The great.
Yeah,
I don't know.
oh man.
DJ 2 holes and greater.
Yeah, greater.
Holy cow.
Wow. All right.
I don't know where to take this at this point.
So
I mean,
what's in
Eric-
beard?
Yeah,
So what's in beard?
they actually had that chat in the chat, Johnny.
Yeah, I
Drew.
know, I know.
Wow. This is definitely going to go down in history for not only some really fucked up admissions, but god damn. We were talking last night, guys. For any of those of you, some of you I know were in Chris's stream, and the weird thing about Dirty 930 is it's this Frankenstein's monster that Johnny and I have created. That sometimes it's like it's Dirty 930, and Johnny and I are sitting here going, "Yeah, so what?" In some weeks it's magical, some weeks it's fucking flat. You definitely got your money's worth tonight. Let me say that right now. We didn't.
You got every penny. Every penny.
Every penny's worth.
penny. So when it's an off week, just say, "Oh, okay. Well, they went over the top when they had Eric and Brett on."
No, Ryan, I had told him, I'm like, listen, you know, some of the guys are all about the taint and the bridge.
Well, you had your story.
Yeah.
So Zana says, "Who's next? Any other things? I mean, I've got popping, pussing kind of these stories, but nothing like what these boys are talking about. Nothing in the nether regions.
No, I'm all. I was very careful.
Yeah.
To make sure that I was, those things you couldn't help that. That just happened to you.
No,
you know?
yeah.
I'm
It's
gonna
not like
say
you were
this.
being reckless, and you got injured.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, this is
Messed up.
the thing. It's not like you guys caught a disease where, like, I'll get an ingrown hair in the nutsack and that thing stings and is a pain in the ass, but it's not my scrotum falling apart.
Yeah.
All right, it's
Well,
how many nerve
now
endings
I'm going to
does
worry.
testes have? How painful is that?
I even talked to the doctors, because I had an infectious disease doctor. I had like 6 different specialists that were taking care of me, as well as them bringing people in going, yeah, come and look at this.
Yeah,
No?
yeah, because
And
you
luckily
were,
I was drugged out of my gourd, but I was like, I'm like, how often does this happen? He's like, it happens all the time. He's like, just most guys won't talk about it. And
Really?
just like with my recovery, if this story, if one guy says, yeah, one of my boys isn't feeling real hot, they go get it taken care of before that happens, I've done my job.
Yeah.
yeah, no kidding. I mean, light bulbs in the asshole don't get talking about a lot of the time either, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
As guys know, every guy should know. You always have to check your nuts. Always check your
Oh,
nuts.
Yeah, baby.
Just feel them. Make sure you don't got any bumps on there.
Yeah.
Anything more than like 2 or 3 feels is you're playing with yourself. But
Right.
Tom Green has a music video about it.
Yep, because Tom Green had testicular cancer, did he not?
Yep.
I
Yeah,
have,
had
and
it-
I've had this
he had
since
it
a very
removed.
young age. Young being like in my 20s, because I noticed, because I was, probably during entertainment, I was like, what the fuck? And I found out during like an ultrasound, I have cysts on both nuts in my seminal tubes. Okay. So I've just got some cysts hanging out in my seminal tubes. And when I was young, I was like, should I get these removed? And the doctor said, well, sometimes they can grow really big and then you want to get them removed. Sometimes they can cause an issue with fertility and then maybe you want to think of it. But really, I'd leave them alone and see what happened. Well, I've had 4 kids and they haven't, gone into like balloons, and they'll flare up and they'll be painful. But God, it's like minor league shit compared to what you 2 guys are talking about.
Jeez.
But yeah, so that's what I got going on. I've got cysts in my seminal tubes.
I'll
I don't
try
have
to
any-
remember.
I don't have anything.
But I've had a couple brain injuries, so who knows? Maybe I'll remember Mick, maybe I won't.
Go big or go home.
Jeez.
Wow. I almost feel like we need to talk about something beard wise tonight after that. That's like to go with sober chef Eric, that would be like the palate. We need to get into the palate cleansing right the fuck now. All right, that's sorbet.
Sorbet, yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh man.
Yeah, I honestly have not inhaled. This is one of the few times you will catch me at a loss with the fucking doubleheader story that we had just there.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Bearded
It's
life.
definitely
What's up, my
definitely-
brothers? Sorry I'm late.
Oh.
Yeah, you missed a
Yeah.
lot.
You're fucking late, Joe. I'll take you. Go back to 9:30, brother.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh.
Yeah, go back to 9:30, Joe. You'll feel a lot better about falling down the stairs.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
will. Swazana, thank you guys for sharing. I guess.
I guess.
And,
Well, you
and-
know.
and this, you know what? I want to say two things. Number one, the monster of Dirty 930 just grows with these two submissions, but it's awesome because you guys are doing the footwork and there are no rules. So we want to talk about this shit. I love it. It just totally broadens. Like, what the hell is it going to be normal? Like, we're going to get to a point where taint licking is normal. All right, after some of these stories. Okay? Whereas before, a month or two ago, that was like mind blowing. Now it's just like, oh shit, yeah, no problem. Whew.
Or the licking of the crack.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Mm-mm.
Well, Johnny Grooms, did you just go ooh?
No, I said ew. Yeah, no, I don't
Like
do that.
you, gross.
Like gross. Yeah. Ew.
Yeah, because God only knows what's in there.
Yeah. I don't do that.
All right. I'm not engaging tonight. I'm not engaging with any of this tonight. If this had been right at 9:30 before those two stories, you guys, I'm just not going anywhere with that shit. No way.
No, I don't know. Mm-mm.
Oh, come on, Johnny.
No. Oh no.
What?
Okay, come on, Johnny. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, I'm just going back on like what you said on Mo's show. I thought that was legit. I didn't think you were just making a joke. I thought that was legit.
Oh, yeah, no, I was kidding. I don't do that.
Oh, god damn. All right. I didn't know that was, man, to me, that's man card material right there, bro.
No, I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
do
Johnny's got a
that.
different man card than I do. You know, that separates the Joneses right there, man. You're not keeping up. You're surpassing when you decide to go there.
Oh. I don't know.
Josh Rick says the only reason he's here is to watch me eat a stick of butter. I actually broke my diet last night, but come back in a week or two, Josh, and maybe I will entertain you like you're a fucking organ monkey. You know, smack the cymbals together while you pitch pennies into my tin cup.
My question is why is he bringing up eating a stick of butter after these two stories?
You know.
I don't know.
Because I mean, I could ruin butter for everybody just in a comment I'm about to say.
I'm plant-based. I don't use real butter.
Or
Oh.
margarine.
Yeah.
Whew.
McMahon.
Michael Payton, Johnny, come on, bro, give it a shot. Now, I don't know. I can't trust you guys. I don't know if Michael's being legit now or not either. He's new to the stream. Ooh, shit.
I don't know. I never I don't know. I just I never thought about it
Yeah.
to do that. I was
Yeah.
never asked to do that.
Yeah.
So like I don't
Are
know.
we talking about tossing salad?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Okay. That's what I thought.
If we're going with the okay, hold on. We need to have a little definition here. We need to talk about rimming versus tongue bath versus salad tossing. Okay, if you are going with the Chris Rock definition, salad tossing involves condiments. Rimming involves tongue to ass, baby. That's all you're doing. Okay, so let's make sure our terms are correct. I never toss a salad. I don't need marmalade. All right, I need. That's what I'm going for. Natural aromas. That's where I am.
No. I just
No.
I don't
It's
know.
not for everyone, Johnny Grooms. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
for
definitely not for me. Like I don't
So
know.
is it wrong if there's a nutty flavor?
look.
Ugh.
It is your job as the rimmer to make sure that shit is clean to your specifications. Everyone's a little different, right?
Or corny?
It's an act of love, Brett. Don't fucking ruin it.
I'm just doing this for comical value
Oh,
for
I
myself.
know. People ask for that. I thought you were just supposed to go for it.
No. Go for it.
It's like you can set the old engraved invitation. Now, it's just like a meander kind of thing. You're wandering through the mall, and one day you go into the damn tobacco shop. Just cause you're not going to smoke cigars, but let's just go into the shop that I never visit. Yeah, right. And if you're Johnny Grooves, you're like, nah, I'm going to give that a pass.
Yeah, it smells like nuts. I'm not going in there.
I don't know.
Wait. Literal nuts? Or nuts with texture, like, with Eric over here. I mean, what are we talking? Which nuts? Eric had some unshelf nuts.
Literal nuts.
My wife's still out here. She said, I need a drink to listen to this shit.
She does. Make it a double. Ooh. Just casually ask her, Johnny. He can't, Michael. His wife's a lifter and stuff. So, that shit can go wrong in a heartbeat.
I don't see. No, she's not like crazy. She's not gonna go nuts over it. She'll just like question it, and I don't know. I don't know what she would say. She'll probably say go for it. I don't know.
Here's the question.
No.
Here's the question I have for Johnny and Eric. Does it break vegetarian principle?
No.
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 Okay.
No.
Good.
But it's still meat.
Yeah, but
you're not
really eating it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
maybe a little nibbling.
Yeah, a little nibbling, and maybe a little, like, I don't know what you'd call it, but
slurping.
So wow.
Yeah, I'm not equipped for this show today. You picked today that I'm drinking water because I don't feel well and I'm dehydrated. To have this kind of talk, I'm drinking H2O over here. There's nothing in this. This is not fun.
Yeah, Johnny.
Had I known that, I could have gone a lot worse so that he could have thrown up.
Oh, no, I don't throw up.
Okay.
That easily, but
unless he eats ass, then he throws up.
Yeah,
Ugh.
with a straw.
Really, did you consider circle?
Okay, all right. Now, again, I have to take umbrage here. The idea is around with maybe a little dart in and out. Okay, you don't want to live there, right? You're not taking up residence within. You're just kind of, just a little shadow boxing there. Okay. But that's me.
Yeah, we don't know Johnny and his herbaceous activities.
No, don't do
Swazana says, if I just lick the skin on top of fried chicken, some crumbs are going to get in my mouth. And I get what's coming there.
Point taken.
It's Percy. Well, yes. If you are confident that you can do that, by all means, who am I to tell you how to enjoy yourself? Yes, James, surely. That is an option. Most definitely.
What did James say?
Bury the tongue.
Oh, yeah.
Buried.
Grab your straw and go in for the kill.
What's with the fucking straw, dude? It's not Ovaltine. What are you doing over there?
Well, he was
Holy shit.
I mean, we can't really talk about what he was doing without getting the video banned. I'm pretty sure the second the back injury, the back scar is probably maybe because it looked like a butthole. I mean, it looked like a butt.
It looked like something.
What he was doing, he was putting narcotics into her butt with a straw.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was doing. Yeah.
Okay. Now I know in Japan you can eat sushi off a grill. Well, I guess you could do it anywhere, but that's where.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Off a grill.
Yeah.
Sushi and raw. I've actually got hired when I did sushi catering. They supplied the grill. I came in, made sushi, and
put it around and
Really?
arranged it.
Oh wow.
How's that?
very interesting conversations were happening before everybody arrived. I'll just put it that way.
Okay, now answer me this, Eric. At that event, whatever that was, do you use implements like a chopstick or something like that, or do you just kind of right off of the skin?
Well, it's bad form in the Japanese culture to grab something off the communal tray with your hands. That's what the chopsticks are for. You remove it from the communal tray and put it on your own. Then you eat it with your hand, with your fingers.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But it's very bad form to grab something off the communal
So
whatever type of
I
food
always
it
want.
is.
So what happens when all the sushi's gone? She's just laying there naked.
Yeah.
No, there was little pieces of seaweed
Cool.
strategically placed down south.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So
But
why don't she just wear
she had a very clean workspace. I'll put it that way.
But it is like I don't know. If they're gonna cover it, right?
Yeah.
What's the
With
point?
seaweed, why don't she just wear,
Clothes.
fucking underwear? You know what I mean?
I guess it's as close of a medium ground as you can get to. So she's naked, but she still has kind of like, a lot of people eat seaweed, right? Particularly in Japan, you have still a food-based culture or a food-based element that's part of the culture, but not meant to be consumed at that particular meal.
Well, and also the Japanese culture is a lot more puritanical, not necessarily with the, Christian or Catholicism or anything,
Right.
but with their religious practices and the Buddhism and everything else. That's why if you go on certain channels and watch certain videos, they're all pixelated in those certain regions.
Here's the weird thing about the Japanese. They will not show penetration, particularly vaginal or anal penetration. Sometimes they'll show oral, but it's like a law. It has to be pixelated.
Yeah.
But they have this huge menstrual fetish in that country. Like there are menstrual videos galore. I don't assassinate the messenger, guys. I'm just reporting what I know. So yeah, they'll pixelate penetration, but man, menstrual stuff, that's a gum. What I want to know.
I still have questions about the girl.
Yeah. Go on.
All right. While they're like taking the sushi off her, what is she doing? Is she's talking to them, or she's just laying there with a smile?
Just laying there, actually, very.
I don't know.
More like it looked like she's like in a meditative state.
With her eyes closed, or eyes open?
She was. She had her eyes open, but she was just looking at the ceiling. It was kind of like she was just a piece of servingware, And how that started in Japan, I'm sure it was probably some Yakuza stuff. I don't know. But it's something that very rich businessmen in Japan, it's kind of a common practice.
Yeah.
And this was they were some tech guys, and they were entertaining some potential investors.
Oh,
so they wanted to make them feel at home, I guess. I don't know. The money was so good, I didn't ask any questions.
Yeah, and funny you said that, because if you're the girl, where do you get this fucking job, right? You're not going through the classifieds. Where the hell?
No,
you got to be someone who knows someone.
Yeah, she's in human trafficking.
She was a very high dollar escort.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that's how, because I was like, I kind of did the same thing. I was like, and I'm setting up and I'm doing all my stuff. And then she shows up and disrobes, so I can start placing everything. I was just kind of like, how in the hell did you get this job? And she's like,
and how much does it pay? Because I don't want it, anyway, no. But anyway, what was she laying on? Was she laying on was it like a
table, a dining room table? Yeah.
Did they put like pillows on her head or something?
She had, pillows she could rest on, and there was like a towel underneath her ankles and everything, so she was comfortable.
Oh, okay.
Because she was in that position for, I'd say, about an hour and a half.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
They eat off of them.
Yeah.
Wow, an hour and a half, and she got I wonder how much she got for that hour and a half worth of just laying there.
Well, I know I did pretty well after I bought all the ingredients and everything else. My food cost was very good that day. And then on top of my fee, I got a very healthy tip on top of that. And I'm guessing she probably made at least 4 or 5 times what I made in total.
Oh, wow.
Because she had some Asian in her background, and very, very smart girl, very attractive.
Oh.
Did you say back end or background?
Background.
I'm kidding.
Wow.
All right, guys. Thanks for letting me share your story. I got to run.
All right, man.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Brett.
Yep.
Hey, Lenny, how's it going?
Here it is.
If you're just coming in, you've missed a unique one.
Wow. Yeah.
But that still wasn't my most interesting catering gig.
Okay.
When I was living in Vegas, when I was apprenticing, any parties that were less than 100 people, my chef just put off on me, so he didn't have to deal with it. Well, I had some executives, and I don't even know if the company's around anymore, but LA Gear.
Yeah, I
Remember them?
Yeah.
Well, one of the VPs was getting married, so he did like a 5-day bachelor party in Vegas.
Ooh.
So the part I got hired for was I brought a buddy along to bartend, and we were out on the third nicest houseboat on Lake Mead.
Yep,
It was owned by some casino executive. And so we had all this stuff flowing in because he was from Rhode Island. So we had certain sausages flown in overnighted and some little neck clams and everything else. Well, I thought they were just going to be, riding the jet skis and just kind of chilling on the boat for the day. Well, all of a sudden the speedboat comes up and there's some entertainment. And so, they weren't eating hardly anything, but, occasionally they would come down to where the kitchen part food was, and they might be wearing clothes, they might not. It was just kind of one of those parties. And so we just kind of took turns going up to the top of the boat and taking drink orders, and you'd see the two girls having fun over here, and then one girl entertaining a couple guys over there, and and we just kind of did our thing and kind of kept our head down. Well, after the guest of honor and everybody gets on the speedboat to go back to make their dinner plans, the entertainment rode back on the houseboat with me and my buddy. And so the girl that was in charge of the girls was like, "Who's in charge here?" And my buddy's like, "He is." She's like, "Come with me." Best tip I've ever got at work. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, Johnny, you haven't lived. Now I feel like I haven't lived.
Yeah, exactly, right? When you hear that stuff, you're like, all right. I'm going to go.
Awesome.
Yeah. I have I don't know. I do beard reviews. I shave my head.
Eric is when you just see the letters in the chat. Eric just comes out a nice guy working with kids with disabilities. Oh, he used to be a chef. Oh, he's been sober and just nice and mellow. And he's got this fucking Santa sack of stories, man. That is awesome. That is awesome, Eric.
Well, like Anthony Bourdain said in Kitchen Confidential, he's like, chefs and people who work in kitchens are rock stars without the money.
Yeah.
We did, except for we had to buy our drugs where rock stars normally got their drugs for free. But yeah, that was, decades before the texturing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Oh. Good stuff. Oh, yeah. Almost out of my water.
All right. Well, let's see what's going on in the chat as we're getting near closing time. That's true, Michael Payton. That's true. That was before the texture. It's like a construction worker laying drywall or something. Ooh. That's some Asian here.
Yeah, Michael, I'll agree with that. Alcoholics and addicts, man, we have, when you're all that jacked up, there's many things that you won't do, and there's many things you come across. I mean, I remember one time in Vegas sitting at the bar, doing lines off the bar and smoking meth. and one of my regulars was there who was an undercover cop. And he just saw what we were doing. And he was like, all right, I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, Vegas, I saw some really interesting things working in bar there.
Was it a hotel bar or just a standalone?
No, it was, I don't know if it's still in existence or not, because this was, I worked there from middle of 92 till basically when I moved Labor Day weekend in 94. And the bar was called Money Plays. And the restaurant that I worked at was a pizza joint, and we did catering out the back, and that's where I apprenticed. It was called Guido's Pizza with an Attitude. People are like, what's the attitude? You don't like the attitude? Get the fuck out.
There you go.
And they're like, I want to speak with your manager. I'm the fucking manager. What do you want? When's the owner going to be in here? Owner's in back. Hey, Dave, some douche wants to have a word with you. Come out. What the fuck's the problem?
That's funny.
Nice.
Vegas, man. I've been there many a time. Chef experienced a full life before I was born.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes, was that a problem?
Exactly. That's like the best way I could put it. Yeah.
Yeah. The Bellagio, said Josh Rich. No, I don't think so.
No, the Bellagio was just under construction back then.
Yeah.
But I will tell you one thing. At Guido's, no fucking pineapple on the pizza.
Yeah.
That's right.
Take that, you Area 51 freaks. No pineapple on the pizza ever.
Ever.
Oh damn. Eric, this was the best pinch hitting we have ever had in a year plus of therapy. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
No worries. It was my pleasure.
Good stuff.
We went from Johnny and I just hanging out, doing whatever the hell we were going to do for 2 hours to, we're going to have Sober Chef Eric. Awesome. I wanted to have him on to what will go down in my eyes as a great fucking show.
Yeah, working backstage at concerts and stuff for so many years, I've got to meet some really cool artists, and I worked at the number 4 comedy club in the country for a few years, and so I've got a lot of experience in cutting sushi downtown Denver, professional athletes, wrestlers.
Nice.
I made sushi for the Big Show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, super nice guy. And it was funny because he's like, man, I want some milk. Do you guys have milk? I'm like, yeah, we got some milk. So I ran to the back and grabbed a gallon. And I, Cacho would say, bring a glass. And he's like, no, that's good. Puts his hand around the fucking gallon because he's just such a monster. And he's like, but can you cut the little nozzle off? And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I didn't use my sushi knife for it, but yeah, and he put it away, man. He put down like 12 rolls, 3 entrees, and 4 desserts.
Wow.
No
Wait,
problem.
who is this?
What?
The Big Show.
Who is this?
The Big Show.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, he's gigantic.
Yeah.
And he drank milk like that? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Milk is so gross. I never liked it. I never liked milk. Even when I was eating meat and stuff like that, I never liked milk. I never liked the smell of it. It always hurt my stomach. It always gave me stomach pains. Ugh, I can't imagine just downing a whole gallon of milk like that.
Well, he didn't drink the whole gallon, but he probably
just drinking
drank about at least a third of it.
Oh.
But super nice guy, just,
Mickman has a great question, but before we get to it, I want to lead into it by saying, have you ever watched the Netflix documentary Jiro Loves Sushi?
Yeah.
Okay. So for those who don't know, when you become and you've heard Eric mention like apprenticing, when you are on the way to become a sushi chef, you spend like 10 years just learning how to make rice. Okay. You don't even
professionally, yeah.
Yeah, professionally. Yeah, you don't even get to touch the fish. And I'm talking Japan. I don't know how it's right?
Oh, wow.
But so you got to make rice for like a decade because the Japanese consider that actually the most important, or perhaps one of the most important ingredients in sushi.
Yeah, holds it all together. Yeah.
All right. So, so just knowing that, Mick says, Eric, did you get far enough in your training to where you could cut the puffer fish?
Puffer fish is illegal in the United States due to about there's like 8 to 12 deaths a year due to the toxin in the puffer fish.
Mhm.
And there's only 4 restaurants in Japan that are licensed to do it.
Wow.
Really? I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's very poisonous, Michael. Yeah.
yeah, and sushi literally translate su is translate to vinegar and shi is rice. So sushi, vinegared rice.
Oh,
That's
okay.
sushi doesn't mean raw fish. Traditionally in Japan, over about 60% of it is actually vegetarian. And then about 25% is cooked, marinated, or smoked, like, the eel or, the crab, shrimp.
Right.
Now,
Right.
there is a genus of shrimp called a sweet shrimp that you can actually eat raw, and that's the yama-ebi. But the octopus, fully cooked, and the only stuff that you eat raw really is the tuna, the salmon, and a few other fish. But like mackerel, that's been cured. So technically it's a different form of cooking, but it's cooked. So,
Okay.
the only ones you really get raw, there's only about, granted there's multiple types of tuna, but tuna, salmon, trout has to be cured, mackerel has to be cured, and then there's a handful of other ones depending on where you're at in the world.
Wow.
But
That's awesome.
That's yeah.
yeah, and for myself,
No idea. You must kill it at like Trivial Pursuit and stuff. Like in certain
Oh,
categories, like
remember NTN trivia in the bars?
Yes, I do.
That was before the internet existed.
Right.
Bars would license this, and it was done via satellite where they would do trivia contests. Well, myself and my roommate, when we got off work at the old Chicago's, it was a restaurant bar we worked at. We get off work, we would bet people drinks on trivia.
nice.
And so say we're playing against these 6 guys over here, be like, okay, if you win, we'll buy a round for you guys. And if we win, you buy us 6 beers or 6 drinks, whatever.
Okay.
And I think we only had to buy drinks a couple times because my weak areas he was strong in, his weak areas I was strong in. And yeah, I love trivia. If
Yeah.
it can't get me promoted, make me money, or get me laid, it'll stick up here.
Nice.
By the way, since we're getting ready to wrap up, one of these days, Eric and I have been talking. Eric's a huge film guy, and as some of you know, I am a huge film guy. So we are in talks with Joe Downey also. Definitely, at least, I know Joe's very busy. Definitely, at least Eric and I, and hopefully Joe, and then maybe guests. We want to start a live, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly, whatever it is, where we talk film. So I know Eric and I are very committed to this idea. We're going to get that up and running one of these days. So if you love film, be on the lookout for that. And that's about it. I just wanted to say that, dude. After getting to know you over these past 2 hours, I was already looking forward to it because I love talking film. But just hearing all this stuff, dude, we are going to have a fucking blast.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Movies, music, two things that, growing up with mood disorders could get me out of my head. I would get into a movie and that way I wouldn't be thinking about how shitty my life was, so I really dig movies and taint film talk.
No, we're going to keep the taint stuff here. We're going to talk like film, right? So we'll keep the dirty 930 stuff here. You'll get the you won't get the fucking crumbling ball sack or stories or anything else. You'll get the teacher Barbadoe Joe, or at least the film discusser Barbadoe Joe.
Eric
I'm
Kennedy,
looking forward
that's
to having a lot of fun.
hilarious.
What did Eric say? I love Eric.
Eric Kennedy, is that called Two Joes in the Texas Taint?
Eric is a ninja, man. Not only is he the Cal Ripken, because he's the only one that lasts through the 9-hour streams like Johnny and I, but I don't go to a lot of lives, but I don't see him that often. But Eric is a regular, and he will. He's like the on deck batter to James Pershing. He'll drop a few things in per episode that always get me laughing. Oh dear. Awesome, Michael. If I'm not mistaken, this is your first time. I know I saw you last night at Chris's. I hope you become a regular. We're at 10:34. Let's real quick do a quick round table. Hey, I'm not doing anything unless it's the film stuff with Eric. Eric, what do you have coming up on your channel or anything you want to talk about?
Well, I've got my brother's family coming in town tomorrow, so that's going to take up most of my time for the next couple days, seeing my nephews. I haven't seen any of those guys in over a year, so excited about that. But on my tutorials, I'm going to be doing an Indian dish, which I haven't done yet. So I'm going to do some Indian food, but I always take requests. Holly asked for a soy-free stir fry, so I did that for her. So if there's ever anything you want to learn how to cook, shoot me a message and I'll do it.
Oh, nice.
What's that channel name, Eric?
Sober Chef Eric.
Sober Chef Eric on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
On YouTube. Awesome. Go.
And that's
go
my
check it
ID as
out.
well. Nice and simple.
Nice and simple. Awesome. Johnny Grooms, I know we kind of talked about this a little last night, but what you got coming up for those that weren't there last night?
I don't know yet. I'll know probably like tomorrow morning or, maybe in an hour or two. I'll figure it out. I'll get something out there.
Next week, we've got Beards Dignified. We've got the owner of Beards Dignified, and I don't know how many ambassadors they have, but definitely ambassador I see a lot of. Bearded and Winning. That's his Instagram title. He's going to be on here as well. So, and I'm going to do a live first impression. I bought some samplers, and Grant sent me along something else that was actually a collab with him and Bearded and Winning. So I'm going to give some first impressions on that too. The Beards Dignified is one of those companies that has been on the short list, but I just never got around to doing it. And finally, and Johnny Grooms is partial to this. He got that Space Cowboy, which is a gunpowder scent, and I love me some gunpowder. And so I'm very happy to finally have made the plunge with Beards Dignified. So,
and Mick, it's going to be like a tikka masala, something like that with naan. So East Indian, not Native American.
Michael, I get that. We had that. Well, I'll just say anytime I see you, I'll now say I know you, and I hope to see you whenever you can make it, whenever you choose to make it into Beard Therapy. You got a welcome place here for a couple hours. All right, guys. Thanks. This is a great fucking show. A great fucking show. That's all I'm going to say. And we'll see you all next Wednesday.
Later.
Life's too short to eat bad food.